Okay. Hello, everybody. This is a presentation for Funding Your Future, Financial Aid for Aspiring Teachers. This presentation is specifically for credential students navigating the financial aid process. We will be reviewing the types of aid available, some eligibility requirements, and outreach opportunities. My name is Gil. I'm Assistant Director here at Financial Aid, and my partner today is.
Hello, everyone. My name is Omar. I'm a financial aid counselor here at SF State. I work directly with our state grants team, and I'm also the coordinator of our Golden State Teacher Grant and Chafee Grant programs. And this will be my third year now at SF State.
Thanks, Omar. Here is our agenda. We're going to go through a quick review list of all the different types of aid. Then we're going to dive into some specifics about each type. And then we'll also offer outreach options for you and how to get in touch with us. So here are all the different types of aid that are available to you as a credential student. Again, we were going to be reviewing each one, but here we just wanted to lay out all the different types. So there is a special Cal grant available for teaching credential students. There is a state university grant. There are scholarship opportunities. There is a middle class scholarship, the federal Teach Grant, Golden State Teach Grant, direct loans, and alternative slash private loans. These are loans from banking institutions. So like Wells Fargo or Chase or Discover, those are big ones. Sally Mae's another one. So first, we're going to dive into the Cal Grant Teaching Credential Program. So what is it? So this special type of Cal Grant is available to students to teaching credential students who during their undergraduate work received a Cal Grant A or Cal Grant B. The eligibility requirement is that you have to start your credential at a very specific time, immediately after you finish your undergraduate degree. So, for example, um, if you are considering, if you're planning to start a credential program in the fall term, you will want to activate this benefit because you just finished your undergraduate degree in the preceding spring term. So you finish your undergraduate degree during the spring term. As you're going into the fall term, you activate this Cal Grant Teaching Credential Award. This is only for your initial teaching credential. It's not for other graduate um, level degrees. So, eligibility. As we said, you have to have received a Cal Grant A or Cal Grant B during your undergraduate work. You have completed your undergraduate degree, and you are accepted and enrolled into a teaching credential program. You also have to main financial need for a Cal Grant. We will check that for you. That is not something you have to check on your own. The financial aid office will do that. How to apply. There is a very specific form that you need to fill out. The link to find that form is on the California Student Aid Commission website. And you just access the form, print it out, fill it out, and then you send it in to the California Student Aid Commission. And if you are approved, they will let the university know, they will let us know, and then we add the award to your financial aid package here on campus. The State University Grant. What is it? The State University Grant is available to all students at a CSU campus, it specifically pays for the tuition fee. So here's an example, a screenshot from the Bursar website that posts the tuition and fee costs for the terms for the years. And as you can see, when we think about tuition and fee total, we usually interact with them at these summary amounts. So for part-time, the summary amount is 32.95. For full-time, 49.62. The state university grant covers the tuition fee specifically part of that overall fee. So if you were going to be a full-time student and you received the state university grant would cover the 39.69 and your contribution would be the 993. So that is the state university grant and what it covers and what it does not cover. Who is eligible? There is a posted state university grant policy by the chancellor's office. If you would like to review the policy, there is a link to do so. Um, the most important thing is that you have to file your FAFSA or your DREAM Act by the priority deadline every year. If you do not file your FAFSA or DREAM Act by the priority deadline, we are not able to consider you for a state university grant. As long as you meet the priority deadline, then we'll start to go through these other criteria for you. You have to be classified as a California resident or have eligibility to be considered that through non-resident tuition exemption. You have to be in a state-supported program, which the credential program is. There are other types of programs at a CSU campus called self-support. They are not eligible. Your teaching credential program is not one of these. However, when you become enrolled, you might hear about other types of programs available to you as a student. If you have questions about financial aid eligibility for the different programs, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. You have to have financial need, which is, again, that's something we do in the financial aid office. That's not something you have to try to find out for yourself. You cannot be defaulted on a student loan. You cannot owe the federal government for a outstanding Pell Grant or an outstanding loan that you may have taken out but aren't making payments to. That's something we'll be able to review for you. That's not something you have to self-identify or look up. That's something that our system will do on our behalf. And you have to maintain satisfactory academic progress. That means you have to make grades. Every term, your grades are reviewed against the grades that you're given, like if you got straight Fs or not. It also weighs the amount of units you have attempted versus completed, and through the lifetime of how long you've been working towards this degree. Um, and the SAI index, that's again something we look for you. And that you have to have household income that aligns with Cal Grant eligibility. Again, that's something we do automatically. How to apply for a state university grant? You have to file your FAFSA or DREAM Act by the priority deadline. As long as you can do that, as long as you do that, we will automatically try to get you the most financial aid options available, including the state university grant. Just to quickly point out, between the state university grant and the grant that we first reviewed, the Cal grant, the state university grant is something that we automatically consider you for as long as you meet the priority deadline. The Cal grant for teaching credential students, that is something that you have to proactively reach out to the state to secure for yourself. So if you know that you have completed your undergraduate degree in the spring term, and you received a Cal Grant during your undergraduate work, and as you're going into the fall, you're a teaching credential student, you have to proactively get that form, send it to the state so they can make that money available to you. So it's just important to realize there's a difference between the different grants and how you get them activated. Next, I'll turn it over to Omar.
All right, so let's talk about scholarships. Scholarships, next slide, sorry. Scholarships are a great additional resource to add to your financial aid package. They're essentially free money that is gifted either by the university or by an external source. At SFSU, the process of searching and applying for scholarships is largely self-directed, and the ideal time to begin your search is now. But typically, we recommend applying the spring semester prior. Listed below here, you'll see a few links that we recommend checking out. So first would be the SFSU Financial Aid Scholarships page. This gives a solid overview of our available opportunities and how to get started applying. Next, the Graduate College of Education Scholarships page. This lists scholarships specifically for students within the Graduate College of Education. Third is the College Board Scholarship Search, which is from the nonprofit organization College Board. Their website offers the ability to filter scholarships based on your school, program, GPA, and other criteria. And then lastly, we have scholarships.com, which is another free tool that can match you with scholarships based on your academic and personal profile as well. The key takeaway here is that we really encourage all of you to apply for as many scholarships as possible. The more you apply for, the better your chances of receiving extra funding are. Just something to consider and look into if you haven't done so already. Next slide, please. All right, next up is Middle Class Scholarship, or MCS. So, what is MCS? MCS is another state-funded program which is designed to help low and middle income undergraduate and teaching credential students with their education costs. The amount you may receive varies and is highly dependent on many factors such as your cost of attendance, how much other financial aid you're receiving, and available state funding. So that being said, our office typically disperses this later on in the semester after all other aid has been awarded and awarded to your financial aid package to ensure that the calculated amount is final. Lastly, you can receive MCS for up to 4 academic years or 8 semesters. Next, who is eligible? So to qualify for MCS, you must submit your FAFSA or CADA by the California priority deadline, which for 26-27 was March 3rd, 2026. And then for CADA students, that deadline would have been March 4th, 2026. You must be a California resident attending a CSU, UC, or California Community College, bachelor's degree or credential program. You must be a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or meet AB 540 non-resident exemption requirements. Your household income and assets must fall under the $250,000 income ceiling for the 26-27 academic year. You must be maintaining SAP. You cannot be in default on a student loan and cannot be incarcerated. Lastly, a special note for our foster youth. If you're a current or former foster youth, MCS may cover 100% of your remaining cost of attendance after your gift aid and required self-help contributions are applied. Next slide, please. All right, so how do we apply for MCS? Step 1 would be to submit your FAFSA or your CADA application by the priority deadline. SF State will then report your enrollment data to CSAC so that you can be considered. The second step would be you need to make sure that you create a Web Grants for Students account to monitor your application and your award status. If you are awarded, you should receive a notification directly from the California State Aid Commission. And that's it for MCS. Back to you, Gil.
Thanks, Omar. Next, we're going to go through a federal Teach Grant. What is it? The Federal Teach Grant is a special grant program funded by the federal government for teaching credential students. The grant amount can be $4,000 annually. And what's special to consider about the Teach Grant program is that it's a grant as long as you complete a teaching service obligation. If you receive and pursue and receive the federal Teach Grant and you do not complete a teaching service obligation, the teach grant will be converted into an unsubsidized loan that you have to repay. This is a fantastic grant program. Uh, just it's really important to be aware of the teaching service obligation. More information about the Teach Grant program can be found at studentaid.gov, and there is a link for you there. Who is eligible? You have to complete a FAFSA, so you have to be eligible for federal aid in order to be eligible to receive a grant. So complete a FAFSA. For the Teach Grant, you do not have to meet the priority deadline, although that shouldn't be a question because you already met the priority deadline, so you can be considered for SUG. However, just want to say, if you find yourself in a position that you did not complete a FAFSA by the priority deadline, there still is an opportunity for you to secure federal Teach Grant funding. You also have to be enrolled in a federal Teach Grant uh, eligible institution, which SF State is, and be enrolled in a eligible program at that institution, which are all teaching credential programs. The two basic requirements to get moving to get this secured for yourself is to go to studentaid.gov and complete Teach Grant counseling and sign a Teach Grant agreement to serve or repay. The counseling reviews the terms and conditions of the Teach Grant and reviews that it lets you know, makes you aware that it could turn into a loan if you don't complete it. And the grant agreement to serve or repay is you signing that dotted line to say, yes, you agree to these terms. How to apply? Submit your FAFSA, complete Teach Grant counseling at studentaid.gov, complete the Teach Grant agreement to serve or repay also at studentaid.gov. And once you have completed those two, please reach out to the financial aid office and we will double check your grant counseling, your grant agreement. We will confirm you're in an eligible program and we will disperse your Cal Grant. Oh, I'm sorry, disperse your federal Teach Grant.
All right, thanks, Gil. So let's talk about the Golden State Teacher Grant, or GSTG. So what is it? This is going to be another state-funded grant offered by CSAC, specifically for students pursuing either a preliminary teaching or pupil personnel services credential. Currently, the max award for the upcoming academic year is $10,000 for our new applicants. In terms of who is eligible, there's a few key requirements. First, you must be enrolled in a Commission on Teacher Credentialing approved program at SFSU. You also need to ensure you are maintaining SAP. You should be working toward either a preliminary teaching or a pupil personnel services credential. You must submit both the GSTG application and the FAFSA or CATA application for the appropriate academic year. If you're determined eligible and you are awarded, you must complete your credential program within 6 years of receiving your first Golden State payment. Finally, you'll need to sign a GSTG service agreement, much like FedTeach, committing to work at an eligible priority school or a California state preschool program after completing your credential program. Next slide, please. So who is not eligible? There's a few exclusions to be aware of when applying for the grant. If you've already cleared your credential, are in an induction program, or part of an intern credential program, unfortunately, you would not qualify. Also, students pursuing any credentials outside of PPS school counseling, school psychology, or social work, or preliminary teaching credentials are ineligible. And of course, you cannot be in default on any student loans. All right, so how do we apply for Golden State Teacher Grant? It's a pretty simple process. Step 1, submit your FAFSA or CATA application. And step 2, then you need to submit the Golden State Teacher Grant application through the CSAC website listed below. Please note that if you're interested in applying for the 26-27 academic year, that's great. However, the application is not open for the 26-27 cycle just yet. So we highly recommend joining CSAC's applicant interest list so you can be updated as soon as more information becomes available. You can find that through the link that we will paste. Um, you can find that on the link provided in the center page of their website. And with that, I'll pass it back to Gil to talk about loans.
Loans, everybody's favorite topic. Loans. So there are different types of loans. There are, of course, the federal student loans, subsidized or unsubsidized. So these are funds borrowed directly from the feds to help you cover costs. There is the Dream Loan for Dream Act filers. And there are also alternative private loans offered by banks or lending institutions. Um, let's go over a couple differences between all of these. Let's start at the top with subsidized versus unsubsidized. The most asked questions about loans is what is the difference? And the difference is this, how the interest accrues. A subsidized loan will not accrue interest while you are in school. An unsubsidized loan will accrue interest as soon as it disperses. That is the main difference, or that is the difference. And when you're on, if you are in a position where you're considering using loans, our team will counsel you to maximize your usage of un or of subsidized loan first. And if you still need loans, then you can utilize your unsub. Sometimes students might see the two loans offered and they're like, oh, I'll just use half of one and half of this one. Please don't do that. It is in your best interest to, again, fully utilize the subsidized loan first. The Dream Loan Program for Dream Act filers acts like a subsidized loan, so it will not accrue interest while you are in school. And finally, that leaves the alternative and private loans. These loans differ in the interest rate. So it's important to look at what the interest rate is compared to your subsidized or unsubsidized loan. The Fed loans for sub and unsub, those interest rates can change every year. So if you're thinking about loans, it doesn't hurt to walk into your bank to see if they have an education loan available to you that you can ask, hey, I bank here. Is there some sort of good rate that you can offer? See what that rate is compared against other loans available to you. Who is eligible? Um, you, in order to have a loan offer posted to your student center, you just have to submit a FAFSA or a DREAM Act. Like the Fed Teach loan, you do not, or I'm sorry, the Fed Teach grant program, you do not have to meet the priority deadline to be considered eligible for a loan. It's okay to miss the priority deadline. You will still be offered loans in those cases. So you have to submit a FAFSA or DREAM Act, and you have to be enrolled in a degree program. There are some types of enrollment where students find themselves enrolled, but they're not actually in a degree program. That is something we're going to check for you. If you are not, we will let you know. And you have to be enrolled in a minimum amount of units. For undergraduates, it's 6 units. For credential students, it is 6 units. The minimum unit enrollment requirement for graduate students is 4 units. So as long as you're in a credential program, you have to be enrolled in at least 6 units to be eligible for a loan disbursement. You also can't be currently in defaulted status on a prior loan. That is something we will look at for you. You don't have to, you must not owe the feds for a prior dispersed Pell Grant. We will look at that for you. And you have to continue to meet satisfactory academic progress or SAP We run that every term, and we will let you know if you are at risk or are not meeting SAP. How to apply for a loan? You just have to submit your FAFSA or DREAM Act for the academic year, and we can see what loans you're eligible, whether that's a subsidized loan, unsubsidized loan, the Dream Loan for Dream Act filers. Um, if you are considering applying for a private loan, that's not something we can put on your student center. You'll have to pursue that with your bank.
All right, so let's talk about outreach. How do you get in touch with our office? So we offer several ways to access support and information on everything financial aid. First, will be in person. Our office is available for direct assistance at the One Stop, which is located on the first floor of the Student Services building. You can visit us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Just be sure to first sign in at the computers near the entrance, and someone from our team will call you up and assist you. Next will be by phone. You can reach our office by calling 415-338-7000 Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also reach us through email at finaid@sfsu.edu. Next, while we do not offer one-on-one counseling appointments, our outreach team hosts daily financial aid advising hours through Zoom for students who don't have the capacity to come on campus. This will probably be the closest to having a one-on-one with a financial aid counselor other than visiting our one-stop. So we strongly encourage you to utilize this resource that's offered Monday to Friday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Moreover, we have several videos on YouTube that you might find helpful for the upcoming year. You can visit our page at SF State Financial Aid. And lastly, feel free to access our outreach website. This is essentially our site that serves as a starting point for any students who are needing assistance with the financial aid process, and is also a place to easily find our workshops, informative events such as this FinAid Friday presentation, as well as tabling events on campus. And with that, I'll give it back to you.
Thanks, Omar. And that's going to conclude our presentation today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Omar, for presenting with me, and thank you for watching and listening to our presentation. And we look forward to helping you. Have a good day.